Okay, this is the current state of the Martian War Machine. That's the inside with most of the LEDs in there now. We've got the three for underneath. We've got the three for the front glowing green window, whatever you want to call it. And at the sides we've got two at the sides. We've got one further in, which is to provide the permanent green glow, and then we've got an additional smaller LED on the outside, which will be in the little green cones that go over the end, and they're going to provide one of the weapon fire effects. So yeah, so that's that. The next bit, which is a little more tricky, these are some instructions worked out by Stan at Starling Technology when he did the prototype for this conversion. So basically what we've got is, this is the eye, or it will be, it goes together, and what we have to do is remove some of the location posts, and some of this, there's some plastic here which is to hold the red coloured insert in place. That's got to go. I've also got to cut a channel down here to allow the wiring, because there's two LEDs going to go into this. And the other thing I need to do is get the wiring down the neck. Actually it's that way up, and as you see there's some locating holes in there and some material that needs to be removed so I can get some wires down there. There's two LEDs, three wires. They both share the same common ground, so there's only three wires instead of four. But so yeah, so that's the next bit. I'll do a bit more video when I'm done. Okay, this is a tricky bit, so I thought I'd put this on video just in case it is helpful for anyone. We've got to fit two LEDs into this, which is the eyepiece for the Martian War Machine. I've already removed the rear post. There's a post back here, so I've removed that. I've just got to file it down actually, so we'll get rid of a little bit of that. I'm just using some small files just to get rid of the worst of it. And there's little bits and pieces that you can get rid of with a knife. Just making sure I'm still in frame. You can actually see what I'm doing. And the thing to do with this is don't go mad, just take your time. The quicker you want to do it, and the harder you try, the harder it becomes. So just take your time. Now I don't know if you can see, I don't know if it's going to focus on that, is it? Come on, focus camera. Okay, anyway, that rear post is now gone. But what I need to do is I need, where the eye goes together, let's bring it back here a bit, I need a channel cut in between these two tails, so we've got somewhere for the wiring, because that is going to form part of the structure inside the neck, so I can't just cut that off. Otherwise gluing it won't be so successful. I could try, but I'm going to try and put a little channel in there. And the way I'm doing that is with a sharp rat tail file. Let me just zoom that out a little bit, it's too close, so I'm missing things. Okay, so what I basically did is very carefully scored a line down that neck piece. Again, don't try and do it all in one go, just take your time and do it slowly. And once you've got a nice straight channel, all I'm doing is I'm using the same rat tail file, and I'm just going to start at one end and I'm just going to slowly move the file backwards and forwards and just file a little bit of an edge, or a little bit of a hollow into that edge, and then with each backstroke I'm just coming a little bit further down and I'm just expanding that, and then within a few seconds it'll be deep enough to then keep the file on course, so you can then make a bit more progress. I don't know I hope you can see that. And of course you need to do this in both parts. Let's see if you can get an idea. I don't know if that's going to focus well enough actually. Let's try and get it to focus on my hand and then focus on the part. No, it doesn't like focusing. I don't find them very good for focusing, these Sonys. Anyway, hopefully you can see that. So basically we're just making a channel slowly and carefully down the back of that piece. And then when we come to the other piece, just get rid of a bit of flash off the end there. And again, I'm just going to flatten it out, and we need a channel through here, and it's got to go through a bit more here. We've got to go through a post rest, or a post location hole. So I'm going to start there, and then I'm just going to continue scribing down in a straight line. And as I say, don't try and do it all at once, just take your time, a little bit deeper each time until you've got enough of a start, which will then keep the file going in a straight line, and then just very gently, very gradually start filing and bring it back a little bit further each time, and you get a straight line without it having to be rocket science. Needs a bit of patience. But hopefully that gives you an idea. Hopefully that's helpful. I'll come back when there's a bit more done. Okay, I'm going to do a quick test fit now. I'm not sure if I've got that channel quite deep enough in the eyepiece, but I'm going to just try dry fitting or test fitting the bulb. Now this is a special LED. I don't know if there's any way I can show you that, because it's very small. Basically it's one LED around another, and it's got very thin magnet wire, 3 strands I believe, 2 red and a green. So I've got 2, actually I beg your pardon, I've got a red, a white coloured and a green. And the idea is that bulb is going to lie flat inside there, and these cables are hopefully going to fit in the little channel that I've made. It's not an easy thing to dry fitting. There we go. It's just about there. Fiddly a bit, as you can see. And that's the whole point of scale models. Some of it's very small and fiddly. Right, okay, I think we're there. Okay, it's not straight, but I don't know if you can see that. That now fits into the neck with the wires in place and hopefully not broken. So I don't know if you can see. There we go. So those 2 LEDs are up in that eye. I haven't put the clear piece in yet, or the coloured piece, but that just gives you an idea. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go down here, I'm going to remove some material inside here, so we've got room for this wire. make sure it doesn't get damaged, and then I shall do a test fit, and if it all looks okay, just a little bit too, there we go, and if it all looks okay, I'm then going to prime this. I'm going to put some black paint down the inside of this to light block, and maybe have a little bit of white or silver inside the actual eye itself to maximise the light, make a little reflector inside there. So that's it for now. I'll take this apart and do a little close-up so you can see exactly what's going in here, which I shall do next. Okay, that's the idea. So we've got very, very thin wires, 3 wires on our double LED, which is going to fit in there like so, and the wires are going to go down the neck, and that should all fit. That's it for now. I'll see you later. One thing I just wanted to mention on the clearing out the neck, because this wire is so very, very thin. One thing that's just occurred to me is when you're cutting out the material inside that's not really needed, which is the location holes for the posts, when you cut them out, what I did is after I've removed the material, I got the rat tail file in there and make sure that there's no nasty sharp edges. That wants to be smooth in there, because in time what you don't want, of course, is as you're moving the model, or perhaps because this eye should rotate to a certain degree, if you are moving it or handling the model, you don't want this wire getting broken. Once it's broken, then that eye is going to be non-functional, and it's going to be a nightmare to get it back in there and fix it. So so make sure you don't leave any nasty sharp edges in here. Make sure it's nice and clean and tidy and smooth. Okay, the neck and eyepiece have been hollowed out, and I've got the channels for the wiring and hopefully enough room for the LED. So because I don't want to put too much stress on this wire being so thin, I don't want to be test fitting it too many times. So what I'm going to do now is, I think I'm there. So I've just roughed up the plastic a little bit so I can get the paint to stick, because it's quite shiny. It's ABS, and what I've done is I've just made I've got some masking tape, made a couple of sticky back areas, because obviously these are so small they could fly away with the spray. I'm just going to use a rattle can to prime them, so I've just stuck those to the surface there, and I'm going to get build up a couple of coats of or a few coats of primer. Okay, back after doing a little bit more preparation on these parts. We've now got some primer on there, and I'm going to put some tulip in the inside of the eye. Basically it's a black paint. In fact, I'll show you what it is, and I'll show you how it works. I'm sure a lot of you probably know about this already, but for anyone who doesn't, that's it. It's called tulip. Comes in a variety of colours, and it is basically it's sort of fabric paint, sort of 3D, almost like it's like thick paint basically, but it's fantastic for light blocking. Basically people use these for making artwork on t-shirts, so it's flexible, it's sort of like a rubbery paint. So I'm going to basically cover the inside of these with tulip, just a light coat. Won't go too mad. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll come back and show you. But yeah, if you've not met this stuff yet, it's really, really good. As I say, great for light blocking, because of course it's a good light block on its own, but it's very, very easy. Say you've got a tiny little seam in a model and you've got a bit of a light gap, and it's too small to get filler in there, and you don't want to do filler because you're going to have to sand it down and make a real mess of your paintwork afterwards. This you can just put in there, and a little bit like the canopy glue, you can sort of just wipe away the excess, and then you can just run a little bit of paint over it, even if you just need to sort of touch it up with a brush or something, or just blend it in with an airbrush. So brilliant stuff. Anyway, I'm going to apply it, and then I'll show you what it looks like once that's done. Okay, we've now got the inside of that eye all light blocked. Actually, I've just realised I've missed a bit, but I shall do that as soon as I put the camera down. And this is this is how I did it, just with some tulip. It's black matte, a little bit thicker than ordinary paint, brilliant for light blocking, and I can either leave that black in there, or I can always put some colour over it to make it more of a sort of like a sort of reflector in there, like a headlight on a car. But I'm not sure, we'll see how it goes. I'll do a little bit of a light test and see if it needs that. It might be just fine as it is. So this is where we're up to. We've got the eye half prepared. The rest of the model, we've got the weapons on the end now, as well as the lights inside. So we're now got what, 10 of the LEDs are now in place inside. And what I'm going to do is I've got some nice neat little plugs, so that when I do the eye can be put into the top half of the hull, and when I go to seal the model up, I can work on it, and then I'll literally just have a nice little plug-in connector just to connect the top and bottom, so I'm not trying to fiddle around with either overlong cables or trying to make difficult solder joints, you know, when I've got the top and the bottom half too close together. So that's what I'm going to try for that one. I'm going to end up with 4 or 5 wires coming out of the bottom, which are going to go through. Not quite sure what to do here yet. The stand that comes with it is actually quite good. It's nice and solid, but there's no real way to get the wires down neatly, so I'm thinking I'm probably going to do some sort of brass tube arrangement with the wires coming down. Or when Steve Neal made one of these, he did a fantastic job, and he used a 5-pin DIN socket in there, and then connected it to the other half of that plug socket in that plug socket arrangement in the top of a stand. So I'll experiment with that, but I'm not sure how many connections I'm going to need yet, because there's not enough room in the model for all the boards. If you saw the video I did the other day, that's the top half of the hull. But the boards, we've got lighting board and the sound board, which is down there, and the batteries, of course. So I think I'm going to take the wires down and put them all into a box similar to that I've built that Viper on. And I think that will be the neatest way of doing it. So there we go. That's where we're up to at the moment, and I'll do an update in another day or so when I get a bit further along.